say, kids, what time is it?
So I was, just cruising the old Bounding Into Comics site the other day, and I ran across this piece of news and wanted to share it with you.
This looks great.
Graham Nolan of Batman fames going into his own crowdfunding venture. Graham Nolan's giant two-fisted manly tales promises multiple tales of toxic masculinity.
Bring it on. That's
sending a message there, Graham.
Yeah.
Bane creator Graham Nolan recently launched a crowdfunding campaign for his latest book, giant-sized two-fisted manly tales that promises multiple stories of toxic masculinity. 100 big pages. I love how it's like a retro Marvel.
Yeah, it reminded me exactly of that.
So actually, let's hop on over to his Indiegogo page and let's see what's going on with this thing. Because, wow. Okay, so he had a $500 goal. He's at 61,977.
It's like the first 3 minutes.
With 22 days to go.
Yeah, I mean,
look at this, 12,395%. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
So it's going to be a what do they call those things? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Like with the Twilight's, an anthology.
Oh, okay.
An anthology book with stories by Chuck Dixon, who's awesome. I've been on live streams with Chuck.
Mike Barron.
Mike Barron.
Okay, I was just talking
awesome.
about that.
Yeah, Mike Barron. Bo Smith, Tim Rosen, Kevin. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Kevin Graveau, and Graham Nolan himself. Artwork by Michael Golden. Ooh, Butch Guice. Oh man, David Williams, Andrew Paquette, Larry Stroman, Roberto Castro, and more. Wow. Okay.
Compass Comics Group. That's
Compass
funny.
Comics Group.
That's awesome.
Flaunt your masculinity. You get brass knuckles on one of these things. So Team Testosterone is Chuck Dixon and David Williams. Mike Barron with Butch Guice. Bo Smith and Tim Rosen with Andrew Paquette. Graham Nolan and Michael Golden. And Kevin, here it is again, Graveau and Roberto Castro. These are the first 5 stories commissioned. More stories and teams will be announced during the campaign. I wonder if our friend Gary Kissel will be one of them. That would be kind of cool.
That would be good.
So 5 stories are paid for. Your contributions will help fund the second wave of 10-page stories, bringing this book to the 100-page giant-sized book you deserve. My team are all A-list creators, and I'd like to pay them what they're worth and get this done. Wow. So, look at this. There's stretch goals and stuff, too, that are going to be unlocked. I mean, there's 22 days left, and they've made 60,000 already. Let's see. So, Brass Knuckles perk, 125. Buy Graham a bourbon for $10. Words of Iron perk 50, high tea perk. So the pledges are pretty big. There's no 15 or 20 or 25. You can buy him a drink, and if you want the book, you're gonna have to put up at least $50.
Oh, that's what that is. The book. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So, again, here we go. We see these guys taking matters into their own hands. These are A-list creators. They've had it with the big 2, and they're going and creating their own stuff. And look at the payday. Look at the payday.
Hey, I mean, why wouldn't you do that? It's like you're writing the stories that you want to write. It's obviously something that people are interested in because of, like you said, look at the payday. And you're not subject to some kind of idiot editorial staff that might not know anything about writing and just wants to put their own 2 cents in, their own views in. You don't have that interference at all.
You mean kind of like this? Just to juxtapose what they're doing over at Marvel. Punisher co-creator Jerry Conway wants character rebooted as Black Vet who faces the issues that minorities in the world face today.
But the Punisher kills people who commit crime. So he's going to go around killing. What is this? Push to killing cops? Is that what was that what you're going to do? Is that
right.
the
I
whole
don't know
point of
what they're
this?
going to do. I mean,
It's like, what exactly does the Punisher have to do with this? It's,
nothing. And
right.
why do you have to, once again, to borrow a parlance from the great Eric July, why the hand-me-down t-shirt? Why now do you have to take an established character who has traditionally been a white guy and put the costume on this dude
You gotta change it.
and change it just to tell some kind of social justice story? Can't you just
Social
figure out a way to do
activism.
that organically some other way?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about have the actual Punisher come across a dude like this and have a
Yeah.
conversation
Now
or
that's a good idea.
right? Oh, but
Yeah.
that requires actual thought. Like, look,
Actual creativity and
Jerry Conway threw Mary Jane Watson off or Gwen Stacy off a bridge. I'm sorry, Mary Jane. He threw Gwen Stacy off a bridge, and now Jerry Conway's throwing himself off a bridge. I don't understand. This guy's going off the deep end in the last couple of years.
I don't know what the Punisher himself has to do with it. I mean, like you said, you could write another original story with someone else bringing this up, but
just create an original character that the Punisher runs into, maybe who's hyper violent in this kind of thing, or I don't know. The Punisher's the wrong guy to even try to tone down a hyper violent guy because he's a hyper violent guy. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just a way to reskin and more SJW garbage.
Using classic characters that go in a totally different direction and just trying to shape them into some activism, I guess.
That's it. It's just more cultural vandalism that that Marvel and DC are making this in vogue nowadays. Just can't leave their characters alone and write creative stories. Right. Or create new ones. If they want to tell a story like this, figure out a creative way to do it. Don't just reskin an existing character and to change his whole motivation and mission. Like the whole point is this guy was seeking revenge on the people who murdered his family.
Yep.
Not to face the issues that minorities face today. That's completely antithetical to what the Punisher was all about. And the sales will reflect it. And I feel bad for like our friend Dan at BoomTube who has to continue to try to sell this trash.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to buy that Punisher if it comes out. I'm going to buy giant size, two-fisted manly tales. Because I'm a toxic male.
And I think Mike Baron, who's involved in this, has his own.
Yes.
I think it's Thin Blue Line. I think it's called his own book, just written by him. So which I looked just prior to this because I saw his name on here, and that's also highly successful at this point.
Yeah. No, Mike's great, and he was just on Pop Culture Minefield last week. He will be doing work with Gary Kissel as well in the future. So Gary's going to be drawing something for Mike. So this is where it's moving to. I mean, come on, how many times have we seen EVS like make hundreds of thousands of dollars on his campaigns? Like, and he makes no, it's not like, and it's funny because people just accuse this comicsgate or whatever you want to call this nonsense as being vile trash and this and that. But all I ever see is like people like EVS trying to help these starving artists who we did it. We covered that thing the other day about the person making like $15 an hour or less than that, $10 an hour, inking for Marvel. Like that's insane.
Yeah, and he's giving them advice. Here's how you can make more money. It's like, here it is. It's like, but no, we usually get things just, insults thrown at people who are successful. It's like, no, these are not the kind of stories that obviously they are because they wouldn't be successful.
That's just
meanwhile, the big two's numbers, keep going down and down and down in terms of sales. So don't you think? I mean, there's the proof right there. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and one of the counter debates I get into a lot too, or counter points that are brought up to me, is that these books are fine and you can buy them direct from the creator and their original works and all that. But what collectability do they have? What return on investment might they have down the road? Unlike, stuff from the big two that tends to age well and you can turn it back around for, some money in certain cases. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if giant-sized two-fisted manly tales will be worth a nickel in 20 years. But you know what? Sometimes it's not about that. It's about being entertained, not about being in making an investment. You're investing in storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this before, not to you or somebody else. Is like I've getting into comic books was to me was never about like trying to make some big payday later on. And it wasn't trying to like buy multiple copies of the number one that's going to be worth whatever the Walking Dead number one and stuff. It wasn't about that. It was about finding a story that I was interested in, characters that I wanted to read about, and I I the ones I keep are the ones that I compel me to actually want to go back and reread them. That's how I know it's collectability for me. They may not be worth a lot of money, but it's worth much more than any kind of amount of money because I'm going to go back and be re-entertained and get an emotional response from me. I love them. So
I
it's
agree.
not about that.
But what I will say in getting to the end of this whole thing is that I am finding the Substack thing
Oh,
no
yep.
fun at all. I'm getting James Tynion stuff and Scott Snyder stuff. I can't
I
read
agree.
this stuff on the
I
computer. I
actually
don't
agree
want to
with
read it
you.
on the computer. I want it in my hands. They've got to get this stuff into print. It's just
I
not
do
working
agree
for
with
me.
you with
I've been
that.
deleting their emails now. I don't even want to read it anymore.
I agree with you. I haven't like done much with it since
The
I know
initial, yeah,
we talked about that story how it was the big point of it was they're trying to go on their own. It was another way to go on their own so that they wouldn't have to be under this this political environment or things where they're being told what to write or whatever. That was the whole thing about sus. But you're right. I haven't really done much with reading the stuff on it. And we both know I think that those what they're writing will eventually make it into print as well, where we can maybe access it then. But if they're making money off other people who like it this way, good for them.
yeah. Well, and don't forget, they Substack itself seeded them with some pretty hefty
Yeah, yeah.
contracts, so they don't have to immediately
Well, I
put it
mean,
in
if
print.
Substack is getting whatever they need from the subscriptions and stuff like that,
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, this is just us who like to have it in our hands. I mean, maybe there's a lot of people out there, the next generation or whatever, who likes to read it off to, and good for them.
maybe. Although
But
I
I
don't
agree with
know.
you.
I mean, according again to our friend at BoomTube,
Oh,
most of the young people prefer the books.
oh, okay,
And a lot of
good.
them did try digital comics and they hate it. They
Oh,
want the
that's
book.
good news. Oh,
So if you look at the overall sales stats of digital comics, it's in the toilet. It's like 10% of the market. In fact, he said he was talking to a rep at DC just a few weeks ago, and the guy said, they have glue shortages, so books are being delayed, like with hard spines. And the guy at DC said, no, we have to get that resolved because the only thing that sells are the books, and their sales numbers are in the trash. So that's
yeah.
so if all that sells are the books, and the books are not selling that well, they're in dire straits. So
But I would like maybe I'll try to look into this, but let's see if there's any way to get the numbers. I was like, well, what are these artists getting, writers and artists getting from Substack in terms of like the number of people who subscribe? Like, are
mm,
are those big numbers? Like, I'd like to know about like because if that's how they're making, then good for them that they're doing it. Going on. It's basically trying to writing their own thing, their own create their own
no, yeah,
stories without
I
being
don't
interfered with.
think they made the wrong choice by any stretch. I just don't
Right.
like the
I agree
medium.
with you. I haven't either. I
The
haven't
medium's
like.
not working for me at all. I mean, I
Yep.
tried to read a couple of those things, and
Yeah.
it sucks because
It's
they're
not
both
working.
really talented writers, and
They are. Yep.
it's a shame
I
because
actually, it's hilarious that you brought that up because I'm actually like making making notes about like what ones they release because I know eventually they're going to come out
yeah.
either from like one of the other public, Image or Boom Comics or whatever, Aftershock. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to also release them in
Well,
book
they
form.
can't do
So
it fast enough for me because I know I'm missing some good stuff, but I just can't. I can't
I
do it.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I can't do it. Just can't do it.
All right. Well, let us know if you're going to buy giant-sized two-fisted Manly Tales, or if you'd rather buy a reskinned Punisher comic from Marvel. Let us know here on the channel. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and do all those fancy things that keep YouTube thriving. And that's it for me for now.
Me too. See ya.
All right, bye. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at GeekTimeNet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is it?